Hi everybody, this is Off to Battle, and I was alerted by a viewer that these patch notes had dropped, so I want to give you my reactions basically live. I've half read a bunch of this stuff, and that's just helping me to be brief, hopefully. So this is all live, in the sense it's up on the web. I want it, obviously, in my Steam folder, but it's not quite there yet. So, what comes with patch 4.1, you ask? Well, let's not faff about and dive right into the patch notes with some juicy highlights. That's actually what it says, by the way. Tear down those walls and bolster your own with the latest settlements and siege battles upgrade. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Skill point reset. They've added a button that allows you to reset skill points. They will wound the character for 3 turns and clear all skills, and then you can redistribute when they're back. Now, the immediate thing that I can see this used for is you have some sort of horde growth mechanic, but your horde is fully grown, so you don't need those points wasted in the growth line. So that's nice. Settlements, siege battle update. So, okay, what they're doing with this link capture points is that you don't open the victory square, basically, until you've captured the rally point. So, the point that gives the bonuses to defenders in melee and all that stuff, you can't just move stalking units into the victory point and win the whole settlement. Or, enter a timer phase where if you get 1 minute of holding it, then you win the whole thing, no matter if you had, 0 enemy casualties. So you have to take the first point in order to unlock the second, which gives the enemy more time to catch stalking units that have gone way into the back line to prevent that from, being an insta-win button. The major capture point has been fairly exposed to stalking units and should be more of a final fallback location when defending your settlement. This also pairs with the 4.0 update, where we removed victory tickets from the key building points. It's been a long day. Instead of just reading, I'm going to just talk a lot. So, what they're doing about, locked by the key building location, and that just means you have to work harder to get to it, but they want it so that you can fall back to the one final victory point. They don't want it so that you can just have it stolen up, like the rug just taken out under you. You also have, look at this, Tower's Vision, Building, Hex Area, Remove Stock, Effect Range 80 meters, Duration Infinite, affects enemies in range all. Yeah, because, believe me, I've been on the other side of that, and I've just walked units past a tower, and it never sees anything, and therefore doesn't fire, and therefore I don't know that anything's there. And just goes and captures that victory point. The Skaven are very guilty of this. So, they want further gameplay depth when using stealthy units to exploit the score-based victory objective. It's been a long day. So anyway, buildable settlement towers now have an ability that grants vision of stalker units in the nearby area. This is to aid in finding those sneaky units who run through your streets and escaping. Yeah. Okay, additional barricade positions. This is where we get into the real nitty-gritty. Intent is to add more battle flow control options to players in both major and minor settlement battles, an example being some of the minor settlements having split paths with a barricade in one path but not the other. Like basically half of the game. All of it's a maze. Every time I get a new settlement map that I'm not familiar with a faction that I'm not familiar with, I have to try and see around to see what ways that, okay, you can barricade this here and this here, but then people can come in the back, and there's no barricade available here, and they just walk right in. The AI knows all of this stuff in advance, but it's the player that gets blindsided every single time, it seems. So they're saying barricades have been strategically placed to face outward, blah, 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 effectively bolstering the defenses of those key points. That they may appear unconventional at first glance, but they've been carefully designed to address various angles and attack settlements with multiple entrances. More balanced and challenging siege experience for all players. I support that. I mean, if you're going to have buildable stuff, make it better. Or rip it out. Those are your two options. They've opted to try and make it better. I wish them the best of all luck making it happen. Restricted single build changes. Basically, if you have a blocker building destroyed, you're not going to be able to rebuild it if you manage to push the enemy back. It's gone. Things like that. And also more restrictions on the types of building. Well, fine. That's like, instead of just leaving it up to the player that you can do anything, which just creates too many options, you sort of handcraft what you can build where. It's not a terrible thing. Weapon damage versus building rebalance. So, okay, you get something that has a damage multiplier against buildings for, yeah, missile damage. So the idea is to increase the time to kill for buildings. I'm using that term. So alongside a building health rebalance, but the thing, this sounds like they just want sieges to not be easy if you're opting to actually barricade. They don't want easy routes around the barricades. They want you to have to stand and fight in these areas and have it be dangerous to yourself, unless you have a gigantic artillery advantage, which is good for the factions that have artillery, but they generally don't have Khorne-like super melee options. Therefore, it's important for them to be able to get an advantage for that, otherwise they're just getting hosed on both ends. So warp grinders, dwarf miners, artillery, so their bonuses versus buildings or walls or etc. will actually matter. I think that's a good idea. Now, the implementation, we'll see. So, yeah, more functionality, defensive building chains in the campaign. That's interesting. The building's health now scales up as you improve your settlement wall defense building and campaign and provides you with a more entrenched defensive location to fall off your foes. Okay. Yeah, this sounds good. It's an interesting way to push it. It's an interesting thing to do. Because that's a material change to the game. Wall towers and buildable towers range split. Bit of difference between the projectile ranges of the wall towers and the build towers. Okay. Yeah, wall towers have long range. Good. Yeah. Buildable towers have reduced range. Well, their problem is more horrible line of sight. I mean, if you're given a location to build a tower and your own settlement structure blocks that from being any good to you, that's pretty bad. And that's more the problem we have. Oh, and we have these different themes. I like this! I need to use this! I've played so much Vampire Coast lately. Because it's a weird faction. Because all sorts of craziness happens. And I'm learning as I go. I fixed a rare crash that could occur when a legendary hero would spawn for the AI. I want to mention that because they don't say which. They do not mention which legendary hero. Like, is it just the one? Or is it a whole bunch of them? Fixed a rare pathfinding crash. You know, different stuff here. Okay, rules and systems. They say they made a gigantic change to the homing projectile sorts of powers. And I'll get to that. Some stuff with diplomacy. Spellcasters are now revealed unless they're using snipe as well. For example, while hiding in forests or while casting spells. Okay, I'll have to remember that. Because I'm sure that would include summons also. Like bound stuff like Celestra has. Fix an issue, warrior chaos, blah, blah, blah. Ambush withdrawal zones have been moved from behind the ambushed army to a harder-to-reach location. Okay. Because if you've been ambushed, there are cases that you can just kiss your army goodbye anyway, but if you're the ambusher and you live off that, like Kazrak, you need to have the maximum advantage from doing it. Siege capture points now use sticky tooltips and contain relevant information about capture point behavior. Okay. Okay. An alert has been added for attackers when they are losing control of a location that unlocks another. Yes. Very good. Fix the number of Lord recruitment rank technologies that were not increasing said rank when replacing a Lord, only when recruiting a fresh one. I've encountered that. So that's an old one, isn't it? Certain buildings that have applied corruption faction-wide are applying it to every region, and so it would combine in provinces with multiple regions. Now it applies per province, okay? Fix some instances where a settlement building was damaged, the settlement would lose its walls. Um, I ask in all seriousness, does damaged building have a point in Warhammer 3? I'm asking for a friend. An ethereal friend, who is a Morngul Haunter. AI rules and logic. Okay, they've actually done stuff here? AI flying units remained idle after deploying with the attacker. Okay, there's a bunch of things here that they're claiming are going to work better with the AI. Improved position of AI archer units to allow them to pull back from settlement walls when the attacking army has entered the settlement. I've seen a lot of weirdness there, so, you know, good. I'm glad you're working on it. Exploit fixes. Fix an exploit where casters mounted on War Beast could cast a magic missile spell and then move to avoid paying the Winds of Magic cost for it. I've heard of that one. I haven't been using it, because I'd hate to be that cheap. So, single anti-knockdown reactions. I read this section earlier, so it's basically a formation will just hover over a single anti that's gone down, waiting for it to get back up and be damageable before wailing on it again. And if a mammoth has knocked down a giant, the mammoth is going to go behind the giant, so that when the giant gets up, the mammoth just does that. Projectile 2.0, projectile homing, rather. At the bottom line, I mean, they give some little video animation stuff to show the improved behavior, the aggression of the homing stuff, which is great, but I want to focus more on what kind of units are helped by this. Orion, Sisters of Twilight, Ley Lords, both, Way Captain, Ulrika, Waystalker, Luminarch of Hish, Tempelhof, Luminarch, Doomdiver Catapults, Hell Cannon, Soul of Damnation, Hell Cannon, Iceforge Legion, that's 4 Hell Cannons, Soul Grinders of Tzeentch. Abilities, well, there's a lot. Even just straight up Fireball is on this list. Doom Bolts, Blue Fire of Tzeentch, Amber Spear, like, there's a lot of stuff. Blue Fire of Tzeentch, oh. So, there's a lot of stuff, but no, they never actually worked to the point that you felt satisfied when using it. So, this is going to be interesting, because, in principle, if it's more aggressive with the homing, then it's going to work as intended, and we'll have to see what that does to the balance. The embedded hero action training now increases experience gains for units within the army, rather than a flat amount per turn. I think this is very good. Add missing garrison units to Empire Force, Half Gates, and the Great Bastion when occupied by Ogre Kings or Wood Elves. I've heard that was a problem. Fix an issue that will allow units with stock and fire while moving, but not snipe, to fire without being revealed. Okay. Now, in spells, I didn't look too much, but I'm seeing a whole big bunch of vortex spells that are going to be moving around slower. They may be still doing weird stuff, but they're going to do it slower. So if you fire at a blob, you're more likely to hit the blob rather than hitting, 500 feet away from the blob. At least past the first, 1.5 seconds. It'll zip out of there like a tornado instead of a hurricane. And, okay, so there's a lot of stuff. I mean, basic chain lightning. There's a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff. They actually lowered the heal for Soul Stealer. Marathi hates you. Altered Fireball so that it should more reliably explode in the center of enemy units instead of penetrate through a unit entirely. How long has this been a thing? How many years has this been a thing? So, large number of redline skills that apply to rank 7 and above units, but were not applying to the relevant regiment of renown units. Thank you. Add character traits for when fighting battles and using hero actions against the Chaos Dwarfs. Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah. It's good to acknowledge your own DLC. So student archivist followers will now drop when a character ranks up on the same turn as when the faction is completed with searching a technology. Okay. That's interesting. Number of issues of the Sword of Cain. It will no longer go to, like, caravan armies. Okay. And correctly return to the Shrine of Cain when the owner is defeated by an army that is not able to equip it. Thank you? I say thank you, but it's probably going to annoy me because I'm so tired of seeing Alariel wielding the Sword of Cain, but whatever. That's with my choices and factions to play. Some DLC ancillary set bonuses. And there's DLC. Mother of Stankia, yeah. And the new stuff that was included with Shadows of Change for the Cathalians. So I'll just try and breeze through this Beastman corruption, missing corruption effects to the unique Hearthstones found in Lothern and the Oak of Ages. Yeah, that's sort of important there. Added unique Hearthstone buildings for Kislev, Zarnagrand, and Wei-Jin. Nice. Pick some cases of events, blah blah blah. Yeah, stuff doesn't modify their recruitment cost because they have 0 recruitment cost. Yeah. No longer receive events that affect growth in a province as their host servants do not use it. They're just cleaning up stuff. Yeah. Beastman characters recruited at rank 15 or higher due to reward, blah blah blah. The challenge and strong survives was no longer possible to unlock. Oh, okay. Added multiplayer caps on Zangors. Okay. Malagor can no longer capture points in domination mode. Well, he flies, so he shouldn't be able to, yeah. It looks like they've just... Oh, just did a bunch of multiplayer class stuff. Well, fine. Razorgore Herd are no longer being treated as domination infantry. When was... Wow. This is me not playing multiplayer, see. This is a thing, because I have done a video on the Incarnate Elemental of Beast, and the thing is that the Beastman Redline skills didn't improve it, so Bestial Butchers and Freakish Mutations, which would be, if I recall, the Minotaur line, which just makes those even better, like the one with Taurox now. Speaking of, Titans of the Deep Forest will now apply to the Incarnate Elemental. Yeah. And they fixed Kazrak's skill Houndmaster not applying both effects to Feral Manticores. So Feral Manticores will actually be a thing now, it seems. And now Extraction of Tzeentch also applies to Zangors. Okay. That's the one that affects Centaurs and stuff? Or was it the spawn? Whatever. Fix between not being able to sack or raise Beastman hurts. What the? Okay. Chaos Dwarfs. Heroes can no longer be embedded into Chaos Dwarf convoys. I thought that was fixed before, but no, well, whatever. Certain buildings cannot be constructed in the blah blah blah. Okay, so they made a bunch of cost adjustments. Hobgoblins are coming down. Sneaky Gits down significantly. Chaos Dwarf Warriors down a bit. Great Weapons down a bit. Shoots Dark Ravagers don't fire 360-degree firing arc? Okay. Great Taurus, Bale Taurus, and Cinder Breath, entity size very large. Okay. I suppose that makes them... If they're easier to hit in melee by units that surround them, it also means that their damage reflection it matters more. So, being damaged less is actually sort of anti-synergy with what they're trying to do. So I think that's a good change. The number of innate traits are not functioning for Chaos Dwarf characters. Yeah, good. Missing tooltips. Yeah. Unilateral agreements technology now functions correctly. Good. That's the one that, well, it's related to their convoys and trade. So it wasn't working. Wow. I like that one. On paper. Fix the magic items not dropping via the Tower of Zar Seats. Okay. Drop after battle victory. Oh! Chaos Dwarf specific magic items will now also drop after battle victories, not just via the Tower of Zar Macan. Because there was stuff that you just could not get. Shrine of the Widowmaker landmark provides favorite corruption as now recruits the god-specific versions of Chaos Furies units, depending which god the summon is dedicated to. It's interesting. Like, I don't... I haven't... Whoops. Whoops, whoops. Okay, good. Thank you for providing that quick navigation thing. So, I don't know this faction, and I don't have much to say about it, because I've heard lots of people dump on it. Fix an issue where the AI controlled Dark Elves were recruiting Black Arcs. That's interesting, because they did the rights. I know I saw them do the rights. But if they weren't actually recruiting Black Arcs, that explains an awful lot. Interesting, interesting. They did the rights, but they didn't recruit the Black Arcs, and that's a huge part of their power. Fix the some buildings, Negron, not affecting friction. Okay. Marathi wasn't able to construct buildings in the Empire Force settlements. Cold One's chariots are no longer able to range attack walls. Okay. Oh, I was misreading this. Cold One chariot. So they have an MP cap on units with a 360-degree firing arc. Like skink skirmishers, which are low-end garbage, basically. Changes to homing projectile behavior. A small balance pass has been done on the Blood Rock Medusa gaze weapon. Explosive damage is less overall. Impact damage has been increased. More of a generalist AP profile. It makes me want to try them. I should do a unit focus video on these. I really should, because these are major changes for them, basically. Okay. Dwarfs. Okay. Meaningless change, but I guess they're saving that. Heroes can no longer be embedded into Cathay caravans. Yeah. Fix an issue, performing matter state structure. Okay, I don't know about that much. Okay, let's see. Fix the upkeep on Jade and Jet Lions. They have gone from 120 to 300. That sounds like a big deal. See, this is why that even with DLC that I don't always want to rush into playing certain stuff. So it seems that they've changed around the yang and the yin and certain stuff a little bit. Onyx Crowman getting a cost nerf. Interesting. Okay. Grand Magistrates, stand your ground. No longer applies to all units, just himself. Okay, what's next? Green skins. Some cauldron thing. Anything really important here? Black Orcs have been... Their cost has been cut. Interesting. Vegans cut. Savage Orc, Rogue Idol significantly cut. Night Goblin Archers cut a little bit. High Elves. Fortress gate buildings now give battle supplies correctly. Okay, so they cut some costs down. And Alithanar and Princess and Handmaiden are part of that 360-degree firing arc MP cap. Okay, foreign factions can now recruit the Blood Brute Behemoth Gorgon. Alright. Kislev. Anything major here? Mother Ostankia got her ammo reduced from 48 to 32. Oh, the Akshina ambushers. They're no longer melee armor piercing. They're no longer ranged armor piercing per se. I mean, I say that, but 10 per hit is very respectable. but give it a more unique role and niche when compared to other units on the roster. That is so diplomatically stated. Okay, so they fixed a few things. Lizardmen. Provinces were missing from the geomantic web. Fixed Soxial having a negative effect to building construction time as a reward for visions of the old ones. That's pretty bad. Lord Mazdamundi. Now the Chaos Dwarfs also hate him. Everybody hates him. Okay. The Coatl Regiment of Renown didn't have the bounce spell Baroness Time Warp. That's a really good spell for a bounce spell. Wait. Added the remaining spell words to the Slime Mage Priest units to both campaign and custom battle? Isn't that a big deal? Blessed Hormones now have Primal Instincts as intended. Blessed Psychodomus, they're missing 15% of missile resistance. Vials no longer instantly kill himself by cutting through walls in settlement battles. Yay! Nurgle, as expected, very, very little. Nurgle cult buildings, okay. Ogre Kingdoms, does anybody care? There's stuff. I'm just going to go through here, not be too lengthy, but yeah, let's see. Skaven infections being unable to recruit Eshin Sorcerer heroes. That's a pretty big deal. It's an issue we're using a Doom Engineer against a Chaos Dwarf Demon Potential and Settlement. Wouldn't create the Warlock. Yes. Yes, I have experienced this. It is very frustrating. So, using the Doom Engineer, you're supposed to... I mean, you're either inflicting a big earthquake or you're setting up an Undercity which has a Warlock laboratory building. And it wouldn't work on Chaos Dwarf stuff. And now it will. Very good. Replaced a unit of gutter runners with rat ogres in the garrison provided by the Chained Sentry Beast building. Okay. Okay. This is an issue on Skaven vehicle units. The Skaven vehicles, the wheels were not moving with the correct speed and direction. Yeah. Fixed the Skaven Packmaster skill, Carrot and Stick not applying the recruit rank bonus. Good. Monstrous Abominations now applies to Regiment. Good. Sunash, selection costs. Even cult buildings. There's nothing. Adjusted Nakari's jumping attack to better perform against infantry. Interesting. Empire Imperial supply units now correctly merge and sort with standard variants. Okay. Applicable to the Huntsman's Expedition. Yeah. Tomb Kings. Oh. The Chosen of the Gods can now damage walls with their projectiles as intended. Would that be the Great Bows? Probably. Added a search bar to the Formless Horror panel in the Skirmish versus AI Changeling Form Selector. Make finding a specific form a lot easier. Borrowed Time can now be used on armies at sea. A whole bunch of stuff. Okay, well, you're tightening things up. Good. It's your own DLC. Fixed an issue where Sothoriel, the Everwatcher, would lose immortality when confederated. Okay! Because otherwise, it's really painful to go out of your way to save his wings and feathers, and then have him not be immortal. Blue Scribe's cost got pushed down a lot. Updated battle AI usage spare work with the intended battle design. Okay. The okay. They massively changed how the changeling works in multiplayer. Mutalith got cost nerfed a bit. The RR got cost nerfed a bit more. Cockatrice updated battle AI usage spare work with the intended battle design. I'd heard that there was some weird stuff there. Zangor's actually got... They're deemed to have been working so well that their cost is going up. Okay. Vampire Coast. Okay. Fixed the Vampire Coast pieces of 8 that are awarded from quest battles not showing up in the pieces of 8 panel whilst the quests are active. Okay. Okay. And some raised dead stuff that's been changed with the Vampire counts. Warriors of Chaos. Nothing big here. They made Herald Hammerstorm not have not spawning issue. I'm not seeing anything big here. Not really big. What else? Some stuff here, but it just looks like general fixes. More general fixes to a lot of stuff, which is good. Which is good. Some of these are just laugh out loud stuff. Alright, I think that I've reached a point where, if there's anything else you want to see, Ethereal Ancestor Warriors will no longer accumulate blood. Okay. Okay, so we'll never see that one again, except in old YouTube videos. Oh, there's so much stuff here. Oh my goodness, my mind's melting. Okay, you can see from how I'm scrolling here, there was a lot of stuff they were working on. So I'm really glad to see that. I'm really glad to see that they are working on it, that they are doing their stuff, because they have to fight and win the fan base back. And they've got to do it shield in one hand, axe in another, and they've got to really go to the line of battle and fight fiercely and boldly and bravely. And this is a good first step. It's a strong step, I think. But, you know, a lot's going to depend on, do these sieges suck or not? I don't know. I'm interested. I really want to see it. I want sieges to matter. But I don't know how it's going to actually go in reality. We'll see. This has been Off to Battle, and we'll see you on the battlefield somewhere trying all this stuff out. But, that's a lot of junk. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. Take care.